Presentation skills. Today we are going to look at what are presentation skills. In general, people get often tensed when they hear the word presentation. People become nervous, and one of the reasons for becoming tensed to give a presentation is the feeling maybe they have to speak before the audience. Are the presentations really very tough? No, indeed, we give presentation in every walk of our life. For example, when you look at a child, a newborn baby, a neonatal, cries to state or to tell mother that she is hungry or he or she is hungry. A baby presents herself with a cry to tell that the baby is hungry and she needs food. So presentation is a very common thing. With little care, we can give an effective presentation. So here you see two words, presentation, skills. Now what are skills? Skills are something that can be enhanced, that can be improvised, that can be enhanced or improved with a little bit of practice. And when you start rectifying your mistakes, you start improving your skills. So today's session will be looking at presentation skills. So let's get started. Planning plays a very essential role in planning and giving an effective presentation. So why do we need, why are you doing the talk? So the purpose of the talk is very important. So we need to understand what is the talk or what is the topic on which we are going to give a presentation. And we need to have a very clear purpose of our talk. The second thing is, it's always better to know the audience to whom we are giving a talk. Now, audience here are the listeners or the participants to whom we are giving a talk. And knowing the audience can definitely improvise your presentation. And whatever the subject it is, it's always important to make essential notes so that you are confident in your presentation. So take care to make notes. Okay, and it's very bad habit to write your presentation word by word. There is a risk that it may not be a presentation, it may turn out to be a reading activity. So we need to remember that we are not doing a reading activity and we are doing a presentation. It's a good idea to organize your presentation with small pieces of paper so that it helps in organizing the content. Okay, so you can also utilize the feature of making notes in PowerPoint slides, and you can even time your presentation so that you are giving an effective presentation. So time your talk. So check for each slide how much time you're going to spend, and if necessary changes are to be made, plan it accordingly. Yeah, and the last and important thing is practice. The more you practice, the more you become confident in your practice, in your presentation. So practice is the key for an effective presentation. So always take time to practice, to rectify your mistakes till you become confident before on the final day of your presentation. So there is no substitute for practice. Practice as much as possible with your presentation before you give a very effective presentation. Moving on, think of these threes. So whenever you have a presentation, your presentation should mainly focus on these three things. So first one, tell audience what you are going to say. So what is the main subject that you want to present? What is the main objective? What is the main topic that you are going to present? And how effective can you tell the topic to the audience or present the topic to the audience? And the third one, tell them what you have said. And it's always very important to recap, to check whether whatever you're presenting is being understood by your audience. And this we can cross-check by repeating or revising what we are trying to see. And let us look at some of the techniques which we can use, or few things to take care when you are giving an effective presentation. So first one is pace of delivery. Pace of delivery is how fast or how slow your presentation is. So here take care not to speak too fast or too slow, because audience take time to understand what you're trying to say. Second one, vary style. So don't speak in continuously in one pitch. Try to bring in a variation in your voice. Like whenever you want to emphasize something, do raise your voice. And humor also is part of a good presentation. So have some humor in your presentation so that your presentation becomes lively. And move about. So it's not a good habit to stand still at one place and give a presentation. So try to utilize the stage as much as possible. Try to move, try to use the stage space effectively so that you can also focus on the audience in a good way. And yeah, so use notes, whatever the notes that you have made for the presentation. This new notes will be very handy to create a very good impact, strong impact on the audience. And yeah, so avoid annoying habits. So some people will have a little bit disturbing gestures. So try to avoid those disturbing gestures which may confuse the audience. So always there should be a coordination between what you are saying and your body language. So there is a lack of synchronization, lack of proper coordination between your body language and the text or the slides that you are showing to the audience. It may give rise to confusion. And use props, but don't overdo it. Yeah. Now always understand that presentation or slides will not do the things for you. Slides or it's a presentation is just a tool, and it's you who is going to make an effective tool. So always try to take care that you are not using too many props in your presentation, because there is a risk that your presentation or props may dominate your presentation. So moving on to the next slide. Yeah, presentation tools. Now, PowerPoint slides are very good tool to give an effective presentation. They do help in minimizing your efforts to give a presentation. So flip chart for diagrams, pictures or key points. Yeah, so here whenever you are comparing a bar chart or another chart, you can also always make an effective use of those charts to show your variation. Yeah, overhead projectors or PowerPoints may serve the same purpose, and they can enhance your presentation. They can definitely help you to give a very effective presentation. And always a picture is, as the saying goes, a picture speaks better than a word. So you can better demonstrate the things with the help of a illustration or a demonstration. So rather than just giving a presentation or a talk, always see that your presentation is supported with some sort of a demonstration or illustration, which would definitely enhance the quality of your presentation. So let us look at some of the do's and don'ts. So let's get started with do's. So take a deep breath. Now often people, when they give a presentation, they abruptly cut or give a pause in the presentation. So try to avoid this. Try to take a deep breath. Try to make one point at a stretch. Then speak clearly. Yeah, whatever you're going to communicate, whatever you want to say it clearly so that the audience can understand. So here avoid murmuring or eating up the words. Make small cards to remind yourself of topics, number them. And this is a very good point to organize your presentation, to give an effective presentation. Be aware of where your audience is, or are you facing all of them? Yeah. Now, we need to always make an eye contact with the audience, and we need to ensure that we are covering all the audience in our presentation. It should not happen that you are only focusing on one part of the audience and you are completely neglecting the other part, which is not a good habit. So you need to focus, you need to make an eye contact with all the audience in the hall. Yeah, smile, have some fun. So presentation doesn't mean like you're always very serious. So you need to have a little bit smile on your face, and this also reflects confidence of your presentation. Then be yourself and project your personality. Yeah, so sometimes we try to pretend, we try to act as somebody else. That may spoil the show. So be what you are. It's not necessary that you need to step into somebody else personality or try to act like somebody. So you are perfectly well in your own personality. So be what you are. Then remember, no one knows how you feel or what you think. Yeah, this is very important. People understand that from our body language. So we need to be very confident when we speak. So based upon our facial expressions, based upon how we talk, people try to judge us. So be confident in your presentation. Yeah, remember the audience is on your side. Yes, finally, how do we understand that audience or on my side or on the presenter side? The best thing here is to look for an eye contact. When all the audience are making an eye contact with you, then it's a good sign, it's a positive sign, giving you a very clear indication that audience are with you. They are following each and everything, the smallest point which you want to highlight. And lack of eye contact is a very clear indication that either you are going fast or slow, or some part of the presentation is not being understood by the audience. So always take care to see that all the audience are making an eye contact with you, and it's 100% a clear indication that your presentation is going in the right direction. Yeah, some of the don'ts or some of the things that we should not be doing in a presentation. Rush what you are trying to say, slow down. Yeah, so don't rush with the content. Don't be too fast with the content, as audience also take time to understand what you're trying to say. If you speak very fast, they may not follow your presentation. So always give some time for audience to listen and understand what you're trying to communicate or what you're trying to say. Okay, read off a sheet of a paper word or word for word. Yeah, so this is really a very bad habit. Never get into a practice of reading something or holding a paper in your hand and reading it. So it will be never a presentation. It will become a reading activity. And remember, we are not doing a reading activity here. We are doing a presentation, and effective presentation comes when you put the things from your mind, but not from your paper. Then fiddle with things, it's irritating. Yeah, fiddle with things in the sense some people will have a habit of holding a pen, or they'll start rotating something in their hands. So this confuses people a lot. So it's not a good habit. Never have something in your hand, or if you have a habit of playing with your pen when you're talking, so it's a distraction, avoid it. Then use inappropriate language for the audience. So it's a slang. So slang is words which the audience may not understand. So try to avoid the words which you use in the presentation, and the words that you use in your presentation should be clearly understood. There should not be any confusion. Yeah, final thing, do not panic. If something goes out of hands or something goes out of your scope, don't get confused, don't get panic, or don't get irritated. So it happens sometimes, take it naturally. Here, humor can be of a great importance. You can use humor to bridge the gap or to handle the panic situation. So sometimes things will so happen that they go out of our hands. So don't worry about such things. Try to give your best of the best. Right, now we have arrived at the last part, that is a feedback session of the presentation. Generally, after the ending of every feedback, after the ending of every presentation, you will have a feedback session, or you will have questions round. Okay, so in a question round, people may raise some queries related to the topic. So here also take some time to understand the question, what they want to ask. Okay, don't panic. Don't say that it is not my part of the presentation. First look whether the question that was asked was related to the topic. If the question is related to the topic, then if you know the information, give the information, and there is nothing wrong to say that this was not covered in your presentation. Take some time from them and tell them that I will revert after the session, and there's nothing wrong with it, and it's absolutely fine. But do handle this feedback session or questions round with a clear and with a focused intention. Don't panic, understand the questions, then try to give an answer. So here Phyllis will be of great help to handle the last part of the feedback session. So let us, before winding up, summarize our talk. So most talks go according to the plan. So planning is a very essential thing to plan your presentation. But you must actually plan unless you are very experienced. Okay. So in the initial stages, it's very much needed that your presentation has to be completely planned. You have the support of your audience. Yeah, always take care to see that audience. You need to support your audience. Audience are always on your side. Then most common mistakes are avoidable. Yeah, with little care, definitely you can avoid most of the mistakes in your presentation. The world won't end if it does go wrong. Just correct yourself and carry on. Yeah, mistakes are part of learning process. Don't panic, don't worry if you have committed a mistake. So here we need to be a little smart to handle the mistakes. So there's nothing like perfect in this world. Everything has its own phase of doing the things. So mistakes are also part of learning process. But a good thing is to avoid the mistakes again and again. Yeah. Thank you for listening to me with this presentation. Have a good day.